Good morning. We're going to start in like 2 minutes. Grab your beverage of choice. I'm still kind of waking up, so I have coffee, but I know some people out there do not like coffee, and also have water. Grab 2 blocks if you have them, or something that resembles blocks. Grab a couple towels if you have them available. I'm going to have you make small bolsters with your towels, and we're going to use them. But if you don't have them, it's fine. I'll show you other ways you can do things without props. But for gentle yoga, it's nice to have some props. And then if you have a strap of some sort, like, I'm using my gi belt, but you can use a belt. You can use anything that resembles a strap as well. So find those items and then come back and get started in about 2 minutes. Okay, hopefully you got what you need. So if you just joined, you can grab some props that you have in the home. A couple towels, like this size is fine. I'm just going to have you do a couple rolls for them to make small bolsters. You can just grab like 2 or 3, maybe 3. And then a couple blocks or anything that resembles a block, but you don't need the blocks necessarily. Towels would be good. And then if you have a strap or something that resembles a strap or belt, that would be good as well for something that we're possibly going to do. If you don't have any of those things, it's okay. We're going to manage and we'll survive and you'll be fine without any props. Okay, we're going to get started. Happy Saturday, happy weekend. Hope you all are doing well and that you had a great evening last night. So this is going to be a gentle beginner's flow. I don't know about you, but I kind of need a gentle beginner's flow right now. So we're going to start out with some guided meditation to start, just like 5 minutes. And it's something you can practice anytime on your own. There are some really nice guided meditation apps on phones that are really thing that you can kind of look into if you enjoy what we do today and this morning. And then we'll get into a couple, into a nice beginner's gentle flow. So first, find a comfortable seat. So you can sit on that block or something that resembles a block, and you can sit on your shins with the block between your ankles like so. If you don't have a block, that's fine. You can just sit in a comfortable seated position, legs crossed in front of you. You can take one of your, like a square, and you can sit on the edge of your towel as well. You can also sit on a meditation cushion, which I have one of those. That's also an option. But just find a comfortable seat wherever you are. Winnie's saying hello and good morning. She's been in a mood this morning. And just come into your practice. So whatever's been going on this morning, whether you maybe just woke up or been, eating breakfast, just focus on this moment and come into the practice. And just place your hands right above your knees on your thighs. Ground your sitting bones down into whatever you're sitting on. Feeling your sitting bones pressing down as you lift your spine up. Pretend like I'm above you and I have a string attached to the crown of your head. And I am pulling the string up. So you're lifting up from the crown of your head, extending your spine. And then just focus your gaze about a foot in front of you. So your eyes are still open, but they're also halfway closed. Just focus on your breathing, feeling your breath as it comes in and out through your nose. Allowing it to happen naturally. And I'm going to be talking, and then there will be silence for about 2 minutes. We're just going to begin as you are, sitting down. And I want you to imagine a mountain. Just imagine a mountain in your mind. And I want you to study the mountain. What does it look like? What are the colors? How tall is it? How many peaks does it have? Take a few moments to just memorize this mountain. And then close your eyes. And you are sitting down just like this mountain. You don't move. You do nothing. Remaining seated like a mountain. Feel the weight of the mountain in your spine and back. Maybe you feel deeply grounded, rooted in the earth. If you have distracting thoughts in your mind, you do nothing. The thoughts are like clouds in the sky above your mountain. The mountain does not move. And when there are clouds above it, you do not move. You are still. Just breathe quietly and take a deep inhale for 5 seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold your breath for 5 seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Exhale for 5 seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And you are still like a mountain. Maybe you discover that you can sit down without moving. Continue to feel the weight of your mountain firmly to the ground as you continue to practice your meditation like a mountain. Slowly start to deepen your breathing. You very slowly start to open your eyes, but still finding that stillness. then inhale, reach your arms up over your head. Lifting your torso up, reaching your fingertips up. And then exhale, just side bend to your right. So right hand comes down, you can bend your right elbow, left arm reaches up and reaches over. Inhale, come to the center, reach both arms up. Exhale, slowly side bend to your left. Left arm comes down, right arm reaches over. And inhale, slowly come back to the center. Exhale, place your hands down. And then we're going to start to move slowly, coming into our practice. But I first want us to use our towels to make rolls. So if you do have the towels available, again, if you don't have them, it's fine. I want you to fold your towel and try to make sure that the ends are lined up. You're going to fold your towel like this. Okay, so it looks like this shape. And you're going to put that on the ground and just iron it out so you have very minimal creases and wrinkles. And then from the smoother edge, you're going to tuck and roll. So you have a small roll like so. And if you have two, do that to 2 towels. And I mentioned 3. 3 is a great number to have. The third roll the third towel you can use as a neck roll, or you can use it to sit on. And then you can just keep these 2 rolled up. And I'll tell you how to use those in just a minute. Come down to your backs. Lying down on your backs, just finding stillness on the floor. Legs can be extended all the way down. You can also keep your knees bent, feet on the floor, knees into touch if you like. Arms down by your sides. And then from here, if your knees are bent with your feet on the floor, go ahead and extend them down for a moment and flex your feet and make sure your feet are about hip bone distance apart and press your heels forward. Toes stay pointing up towards the ceiling. And then straighten your arms down by your sides and have your palms pointing in towards each other. So it's like you're standing up in like a marching position. Think about what your inner thighs are doing. So imagine your inner thighs and start to rotate your inner thighs just gently, slightly towards the floor, down towards the ground. That helps keep your toes stay pointing up. Okay, and then keep this, and then just draw your right knee into your chest. So keep your feet flexed, and then you can take your hands and interlace your fingers around your shin or behind your knee. Keep your hips grounded on the floor. Relax your shoulders. Good. Exhale, release your right leg. Then inhale, draw your left knee in. And again, interlacing your fingers around your shin or behind your knee. Relaxing your shoulders. Pressing down evenly into your hips. Good. Exhale, release your left leg down. Inhale, draw your right knee into your chest again. And then what I want you to do is I want you to lift your head, neck, and chest up. So try to think about your nose going towards your knee. And then exhale, release. Head down. And then I want you to start to take your right knee and just draw it towards your right armpit. So you're just starting to move at the hip joint. Good. And then start to make circles. So your knee's going out, up, in. So it's going around in a circle. Just starting to lubricate that joint. Getting it moving after being still for the night. And then switch directions, go the other way. Okay, and then inhale, come back to the center. Exhale, release your right leg to the floor. Draw your left knee in, breathe in. And then start to draw your left knee toward go back to the center. I forgot something. Draw your left knee in, and then inhale, lift your head, neck, and chest up. So think about your knee going to your nose going towards your knee. Good. Exhale, release. Now draw your left knee toward your left armpit and just slowly start to make circles. After a few times, switch directions. Go the other way. Okay, and then come back to the center and have them. If you don't, it's fine too. And bend your left knee and place your left foot on the floor, and you're going to take your block or your hands and interlace them behind your right thigh. So if you're holding onto your block, you're holding onto it like this, okay? And what I want you to do is your right knee is going to line up with your right hip. So you're not drawing your knee into your chest. You're pressing your thigh, your right thigh, into your block, and then press your block back into your thigh. If you have your hands there, same thing. Pressing your thigh into your hands, pressing your hands into your thigh. So your leg is engaged and you're keeping it neutral. So your knee lined up with your hip. Flex your right foot. And then keep doing that action with your block, your hands, and your thigh. And then start to straighten your right leg. And it doesn't have to go completely straight. You're just going towards straight, pressing your heel up towards the ceiling. And then point your toes. And flex, press your heel up, toes come down, and point. Good. Exhale, bend your right knee. Go ahead and release that. Bring your right foot to the floor. And then we're going to switch sides. So either A, using your block behind your left thigh, or interlacing your fingers behind your left thigh. Keep your left foot flexed. And again, get your left knee to line up with your hip. And you're pressing your thigh into your block and pressing the block back. So that way everything's engaged. And then inhale, start to straighten your left leg. Pressing your heel up towards the ceiling. Leg going towards straight, but doesn't have to go 100% straight. And then point your toes, your left toes. And flex, pressing your heel up. And then point. And then bend your left knee. Go ahead and release that. Put the block off to the side. Draw your knees into your chest one more time, giving yourself a nice squeeze, a nice hug. And then option 1, rock yourself forwards and backwards 3 times. Rock yourself up to sitting. Option 2, roll over to one side, gently press yourself up, and come into a tabletop position. We're going to go into some cat and cow movements, a really nice way to warm up the spine. So untuck your toes and press the tops of your feet down with your shins. So your shins and your feet are pressing down. Knees are underneath your hip bones. Arms are in one line, wrist, elbow, shoulders. Spread your fingers and then turn your hands just ever so slightly out. Draw your hip bones up toward your bottom ribs. Keep your neck long, so you don't want to necessarily look up when your spine is neutral. You'll look up when you go into cow pose. But just keep looking at the floor, keeping your neck and spine long. And then in your next inhale, go ahead and start to drop your chest, lengthen it forward, then look up for cow pose. Take your entire exhale around your spine, look toward your belly button for cat pose. Inhale, lift up, lengthen, look up. Your tailbone goes back and then lifts up. And then exhale, round. Tailbone starts to tuck under as you press the floor away. One more time. Inhale, lift up, lengthen, look up. And then take your entire exhale around. Good. Inhale to child's pose. So your hips go back to your heels. Knees can be together or wide apart. Arms out in front of you. Elbows slightly bent. So your arms are resting on the floor. Forehead on the floor. Or you can lift it up and put it on one of your rolls. or a block. Just take a few breaths here. Allowing yourself to just feel where you are in the pose. Allowing yourself to go slow. Your next inhale, look to your hands. Separate, make sure your hands are about shoulder distance apart. Walk your hands forward so your elbows lift up. Press your hands down into the floor and inhale, press yourself up to tabletop. Bring your knees back in if they were apart. Tuck your toes under. Press down into the balls of your feet. So your toes are tucked under. I want you to press down to the balls of your feet. Press your hands down. And on your next exhale, you're pressing into your hands, pressing into the balls of your feet as you lift up and back for downward facing dog. Keep your knees bent. Keep your heels lifted. And then really lift your tailbone up towards the ceiling. Good. Inhale, drop your knees, come back to a tabletop. Good. Step your right foot back, come onto the ball of your right foot. So you're in like a half plank type of pose. Keep scooping your hip bones up toward your bottom ribs. So you're not, arching your lower back. You're keeping your lower back spine or your lumbar spine long. Lengthen your tailbone towards your heels. Keep pressing your hands down, lift up away so you're not sinking down into your shoulders. Lift up. Inhale, lift your right leg up a couple inches. Exhale, put it down. Keep your legs straight. Inhale, lift it up. And exhale, release it down. One more time. Inhale, lift it up. And exhale, bring it down. Good. Come back to tabletop. And then step your left foot back. Come onto the ball of your left foot. Left thigh pressing up towards the ceiling. And again, making sure that your lower spine is neutral and long versus, that arching into that curve. Press your hands down, lift up. Inhale, lift your left leg up a couple inches. And exhale, put it down. Inhale, lift it up. Press your heel back. Keep your toes pointing down. Exhale, release. One more time. Inhale, lift it up. And exhale, release. Come back to tabletop. Tuck your toes under. And then on your next exhale, press your hands down, press your feet down as you lift your hips up and back for downward facing dog. Again, bend your knees a lot. Lift your heels up. Lengthen. So press down into your hands and then feel yourself pulling away from the floor. Good. Inhale, slowly come forward to a plank pose. You can move your feet back so your hips are parallel to the floor. Drop your knees right where they are. Draw your upper arms in. Try to get your whole body slowly lower down to the floor. Arms drawing in. Okay, and then untuck your toes and press the tops of your feet down. Hands are by your shoulders. Draw your upper arms in. Kneecaps lift up. Inhale, lift up, baby cobra. Lengthen your chest forward. And exhale, release, come down. Inhale, lift up, baby cobra. And exhale, come down. One more time. Inhale, lift up, baby cobra. And then exhale, come down. We're going to come into a shoulder stretch. So what I want you to do is bring your right arm out into like a T shape. And you want your right arm to be in one line. You don't want it to be angled. Okay, so keep your arm in one line. Your left hand is by your left shoulder, drawing your arm in, just like you're doing baby cobra. And you can just keep your chin on the mat or forehead on the mat. And then what you're going to do is keep pressing down into your right arm. You're going to press into your left hand and start to roll to the right side of your body. Okay, so a couple of things you can do with your left foot. You can place your left foot on top of your right, or you can lift up your left foot and place it behind your right leg as like a kickstand. Left knee pointing up. And then very gently, you're starting to think about your left shoulder going back. And you can go as deep into this as you prefer. You don't have to, go this far at all. You can stay with your left foot on top. Good. Inhale, slowly come back to the center. Slowly. And then we're going to switch sides. So left arm comes out into a T shape. Bend your right elbow. Place your right hand by your shoulder. And then your next inhale, you're going to start to press into your right hand as you come onto the left side of your body. Right foot can be on top of your left. Make sure that your left arm is straight and not angled. And then from here, you can stay here or you can pick up your right foot and place it behind your left leg. Knee pointing up. And then you're thinking about your right shoulder starting to go back. Good. Inhale, slowly come to the center. Bring your arms down by your sides, palms pointing in towards each other, tops of your feet pressing down. So when you press the tops of your feet down, your kneecaps will lift up. And then I want you to press down as evenly into your big toe and your baby toe. So all 10 toes are pressing down into the floor. Bring your chin to the mat. And on your next inhale, lengthen your chest forward first, then lift your head, neck, and chest up off the floor. Lengthen your tailbone down towards the backs of your knees. Inhale, lift your arms up a couple inches. Keep lengthening your chest forward. Draw your shoulder blades together and slide them down. Good. Exhale, slowly release, come down, bend your elbows, place your hands by your shoulders. Inhale, draw your upper arms in, press yourself up to tabletop. Tuck your toes under, lift your hips up and back, downward facing dog. For your next inhale, look to your hands and gently walk your feet to your hands. Once you get up there, make your feet hip bone distance apart. Inhale, lift up halfway lengthen. Place your hands on your shins or your upper thighs. Lengthen your lower spine. And again, forward fold. One more time. Inhale, lift up halfway lengthen. Keep a slight bend in your knee. And then exhale, forward fold. Inhale, reach your arms in front of you and over your head. Keep that slight bend as you lift up. Good. Exhale, come down. Come to the top of your mat in Tadasana or mountain pose. So feet are hip bone distance apart. And then turn your arms out from your shoulders. So arms are down by your sides and you turn your shoulders and roll your shoulders back. Then flip your palms forward. Tailbone lengthening down towards the floor. Inhale, reach your arms up over your head. Exhale, side bend to your right. Right arm comes down, left arm reaches up and over. Feeling a nice stretch in your side. Inhale, come back to the center. Exhale, side bend to your left. Inhale, come back to the center and exhale, forward fold, Uttanasana. Inhale, Uttanasana. Exhale, step your left foot back and you're going to come into a lunge. Make sure that you have a long stance. Your right knee over your ankle. Bring your left knee to the floor. So you're not directly on your kneecap though. So your left knee should be behind your hip. If you still feel a lot of discomfort, you can take one of your towels and you can put that under your knee. Otherwise, if you slide your leg back a little bit, that should help prevent any kind of knee pain. Press down into your right foot and make sure that your feet are in their own lane, hip bone distance apart. You can put your hands on blocks here as well. That's also an option. And then untuck your left toes. Press down to the top of your left foot. Come up onto your fingertips, whether you're on the floor or on blocks. Lengthen your chest forward. Firm your outer hips in. And then I want you to think about lifting up like an inch, just so you're engaging the muscles here. Good. And then your next inhale, lift your arms up to the ceiling. Don't back bend yet. Keep lifting your torso up. Reach your fingertips up. Relax your shoulders. Lift up an inch, just so you're engaging muscles here to help you lift up. Good. And then maybe lift up, maybe take that back bend. Gently. Good. Exhale, place your hands down. Bring your right hand to the inside of your right foot and then move your right foot over like 1 or 2 times. So that way your arms are in one line, wrist, elbow, shoulders. Keep lengthening your chest forward. Keep drawing your right knee in. So don't allow your right knee to flare out. So press your right knee into your right arm. Make sure that get your right arm to actually touch your leg. So that way you feel the connection between the two. Keep scooping your hip bones up toward your rib cage. And again, create a little bit of space by just lifting up like an inch. And then from here, you can stay here. You can put your forearms on blocks, so. Or if you don't feel a stretch here, if you feel a stretch here, just stay here. If you don't feel a stretch, you can come down to your forearms. I think this is too much for my own body, so I'm going to stay here. Good. From here, press into your left hand, take your right hand, and just hold on to your right knee. And we're going to take a simple twist. So roll your right shoulder back, and then maybe look up. Keep pressing down to your left hand, lift up away from the floor. Good. Exhale, come back to the center, place your right hand down, place it to the outside of your foot. Tuck your back toes under, lift your back leg up off the floor so you're in a low lunge. Step your left foot forward to meet your right foot. Bend your knees a lot. Allow yourself to hang. So tailbone is lifting up, rib cage are lengthening down. Grab opposite elbows. Keep your knees bent. Press down into all four corners of your feet. Good. Exhale, release your hands to the floor. Inhale, lift up, halfway lengthen. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, slowly roll yourself up. So press down into your feet and start to roll up one vertebrae at a time, with your head being the last thing to come up. Exhale, step your right back, come into your lunge. Again, move your foot back a little bit so you have a pretty wide and open stance, but doesn't, or a long stance, but doesn't have to be like world's longest. And then move your left foot to the left 1 or 2 times. Make sure your left knee is in line with your ankle, and then go ahead and bring your right knee to the floor. And again, you can put a blanket or a towel under your right foot. But if you lengthen your leg back, then you'll kind of relieve the pressure on your knee. And then untuck your toes. Press the top of your foot down. And then firm your outer hips in and lift up a little bit. I am very guilty of sinking into my joints and just letting it go. But you want to engage the muscles to protect your joints. So just lift up about an inch. Come up onto your fingertips, look up. And again, you can always put blocks under your hands to help and assist. Keep pressing down into your feet. And then inhale, reach your arms in front of you and over your head. Don't do your back bend yet. Work here. Allow yourself to be in the pose, not always constantly moving. Lift up an inch. Feel everything engage. And then inhale, lift up. Maybe do that back bend. Reaching up and then reaching back. Good. Exhale, place your hands down to frame your foot. Take your left hand to the inside of your left foot. Move your left foot to the left just 1 or 2 times. And then allow your left arm to touch your left leg and then press both of them into each other. So your arm stays straight, your leg stays neutral. Lengthen your rib cage forward. And again, you can always put your hands on blocks here. If this feels like too much of a stretch or too much intensity, you can always use your blocks or anything like books. If you don't feel much at all here, you can come down to your forearms and work here. Make sure your left knee isn't turning out. Press your left knee into your left arm. Hello. Good. And then from here, press down into your right hand. Keep lifting up away from the floor. Take your left hand to your left knee. And I don't want you to push it out or anything. I know sometimes I have you push it out. Keep your left knee straight. We're just doing a twist. So start to roll your left shoulder back. And as you roll your left shoulder back, you're turning and twisting from your torso. And you can either keep your gaze looking forward or you can look up. Good. Slowly come back to the center. And then place your left hand to the outside of your foot, tuck your back toes under, lift your back leg up. And then inhale, step to the top of your mat, forward fold. Inhale, lift up, halfway lengthen. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, reach your arms in front of you and over your head, Urdhva Hastasana. Exhale, hands down by your sides, Tadasana. Good. Okay, come back to the top of your mat. Arms down by your sides. Inhale, reach your arms up over your head. This time, interlace your fingers and flip your palms up towards the ceiling. And I want you to lift up from your wrists, from your palms. So don't lift up from your fingers. Think about your wrists and your palms lifting up. Exhale, side bend to your right. Inhale, come back to the center. Exhale, side bend to your left. Inhale, come back to the center, release that and forward fold. Inhale, lift up, halfway lengthen. Exhale, step your left foot back, come into that lunge. Spin your back heel down to the floor, bring your back toes in. Keep your right knee bent, drawing your right hip under you, and then inhale up to warrior two. Sinking down into your left knee or right knee, but don't let it go past your ankle. Pressing your left thigh back, reaching your fingertips away from each other. Rib cage is squaring towards the front. Press down into your right heel. So your front foot, press down into the heel. Keep your left leg straight. Think about your top hip, your front hip pulling up. And then flip your front palm, come to reverse warrior. Reach your right arm up and reach it back. Exhale, come to warrior two. Inhale, straighten your front leg, reach your arms up, breathe in. And exhale, warrior two. Inhale, straighten, reach your arms up. And exhale, warrior two. One more. Right foot. Step your right foot back so you're in a plank. Exhale, place your knees down. Slowly lower all the way down to the floor. Untuck your toes, press the tops of your feet down. Inhale, lift your chest up, baby cobra. Exhale, release, come down. Inhale, lift up, baby cobra again. And exhale, release, come down. Bring your arms down by your sides. Have your palms pointing in towards each other. Lengthen your chest forward. As you inhale, lift your head, neck, and chest up. Think about your tailbone lengthening down towards your heels. Press down to the tops of your feet. Inhale, lift your arms up a couple inches. Palms pointing in. And then press down into your feet. And then on your next inhale, maybe lift your feet up a couple inches. But reach your toes back. And exhale, slowly come down. Bend your elbows, place your hands by your shoulders. Press yourself up to tabletop. And then exhale, downward facing dog. Lift your hips up and back. Take a few breaths here. If you need to go to child's pose at any point in time, you can. And then on your next inhale, slowly come down to tabletop. Step your feet back, come into plank. Okay, and then drop your knees right where they are. And then lower back down to the ground. Good, and then from here, untuck your toes, press the tops of your feet down, and come up to Sphinx pose. So you're gonna come onto your forearms. Your hands and your forearms are pressing down into the floor. And then lift your chest up. So you're lengthening and lifting, pressing down into your forearms. Good, bend your right knee. Exhale, release. Inhale, bend your left knee. Point your toes. Exhale, release. Inhale, bend your right knee again. This time, think about your toes going towards your bottom. Exhale, release. Inhale, bend your left knee. Maybe do a little bit more of a stretch. Keep lifting up away from the floor. Exhale, release. This time, keep your legs straight. Inhale, lift your right leg up a couple inches. Point your toes, just like you're on the ground, but your leg is lifting up. Exhale, put that down. Inhale, keep your left leg straight. Lift it up a couple inches. It might not come up very high, and that's fine. Exhale, release, come down. Go ahead and release down just for a moment. You can bring your arms down by your sides. Turn one cheek to one side. Take a few breaths here. Good, and then come back up to the center. Come back to Sphinx pose because we're going to add on to that. Not much more. So come back up into Sphinx. Wrist, elbows in one line, elbow, shoulders in one line. And again, so you don't want to sink down into your shoulders like, like you're just hanging out. You want to actively lift up. So you're pressing down, lifting up, lengthening your tailbone towards your heels as well. Press down to the tops of your feet. As Winnie comes and tries, please move. Okay, from here, what I want you to do, oh goodness, is take your right hand in front of you. So you're straightening your right arm and you're still on your finger, like you're on your fingertips. Your arm's not up. Okay, and then press down to your feet, lift your left leg up. And then maybe lift your right arm up. Okay, and then put your right hand down, put your left foot down. Okay, come back to Sphinx. Okay, lift up. And then straighten your left arm. So you're on your left fingertips. Keep the tops of your feet pressing down. Keep lifting up away from the floor. And then lift your right leg up a couple inches. And then maybe lift your left arm up. Good. Exhale, place your left hand down. Place your right foot down. And slowly come down. Arms can go down by your sides or wherever you want. Turn your other cheek to the other side. Take a few breaths here. I'm going to do one more thing for this back bend. So what I want you to do is bring your arms to the front of your mat and put one hand on top of the other. And then you're going to place your forehead on top of your hands. Feet are hip bone distance apart, pressing down to the tops of your feet. Lengthen your tailbone down, okay? And then lengthen your chest forward. And on your next inhale, lift your hands, head, neck, chest up. Keep lengthening your chest forward. Keep pressing down to the tops of your feet. Exhale, slowly come down. Good. Switch the hand that's on top. Bring your forehead back down. Press down to the tops of your feet. Inhale, lengthen your chest forward. Lift up. And exhale, come down. Good. Bend your elbows. Place your hands by your shoulders. Slowly press yourself up to tabletop. And exhale to downward facing dog. From here, I want you to drop your left knee down and step your right foot forward in between your hands. Okay, so we're going to come back into a low lunge, and we're going to add on to that. So again, you want your feet to be hip bone distance apart. You don't want your feet to be in the same line. So create space between your feet. And then lift your left leg up and move your left foot back a little bit so you're in a longer lunge, and then place your left knee down to the floor. Untuck your toes. Press down into your right foot. Inhale, lift up so you're on your fingertips or on a block. Lengthen your chest forward. So keep firming your outer hips in and lift up. Good. And then what you're going to do from here is you're going to start to straighten your front leg as you draw your hips back, coming into a half split. So you're going to start to straighten your front leg. Your rib cage stays going forward as your hips draw back. Right toes point up. And you can tuck your back toes under if you need that for stability. Keep your right toes pointing up. Lengthen your lower back, your lower spine forward. And then you can fold over. You can always have your hands on blocks. Okay, blocks are really helpful if this feels really stressful. When you're inhale, you're lengthening your spine forward, drawing your hips back, and on your exhale, folding. Your next inhale, slowly start to come back forward, bending your right knee. Good. Tuck your back toes under, lift your back leg up off the floor. Place your hands down, step your right foot back, and exhale to downward facing dog. If you want to pedal your feet a little bit, you can. Good, and then find stillness. And then your next inhale, drop your right knee to the floor. Step your left foot forward in between your hands. So you're back coming into a lunge. So separate your feet so they're, right where your hips are. And then you can pick up your back leg and move your right foot back. So you're in a longer stance. And then drop your right knee to the floor. Okay. And then untuck your back toes. Again, firming your outer hips in, lifting up so you're really engaging the muscles around your hips and your legs. Come up onto your fingertips, look up. Again, always have the option for blocks. And then keeping your torso going forward. As you start to straighten your left leg, hips start to go behind you, left toes pointing up. And maybe you can walk your hands forward a little bit. Again, you can always put your hands on blocks to help elevate you. Drawing your hips back, lengthening your chest forward, then folding over. Firm your outer hips in. Don't let your right hip go out. And then inhale, start to bend your left knee as you come forward. Perfect. Okay, bend, tuck your back toes under, lift your back leg up. Step your left foot back. Come into downward facing dog. Your next inhale, slowly walk your hands back to your feet. Hands back to your feet. Feet are hip bone distance apart. Inhale, lift up, halfway lengthen. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, reach your arms out to the sides and over your head. Reach your fingertips up. Exhale, hands down by your. Okay, come to the top of your mat. We're going to come into some cool down stretches. So what I'm going to do is, remember those rolls I had you make? So I'm going to show you some workout butterfly. And you're going to put those rolls under your knees for support. Other options is to put your blocks there at an angle. The blocks are kind of slippery though, so I kind of like the rolls. Okay. If you don't have props at all, if you have a belt, what you can do is wrap the belt around your waist. Okay. I'm gonna face you now. So wrap it around your waist so it's around like your hip bone so you feel really supported. It's not like digging into your belly. And then you're gonna go under your ankles and lift it up so you feel supported by your strap. Okay, that's another option. There's lots of ways to do this. If you don't have anything at all, you don't really need it. If it starts to feel stressful, I'll tell you what to do when you're on the ground. Okay, so something underneath your knees or not, and then you're going to come down to your backs. Arms can be down by your sides. Flip your palms up. You can allow your feet to relax here. And if you don't have any props with you and you're feeling a little bit stressed in your hips or your legs, you can just bend your knees, feet on the floor. Feet are wide, like the edges of your mat, and just bring your knees into touch. You can just do that for now. And just breathe normally. Allow your relax and rest into supporting them. And then from here, I want you to reach down and place your hands behind your knees. Use your hands to guide your knees up and bring your feet to the floor. And then you can move those out of the way for now. And I'll need to move my animal out of the way. Good. And then from here, just roll over to one side and press yourself up to sitting. And then extend your legs out in front of you for Paschimottanasana. So there's a couple things you can do here as well. Excuse me. One is to sit on that other blanket I told you to keep folded. This gives you a nice lift and a tilt forward. So it puts your pelvis in an anterior tilt if it's naturally in like a posterior tilt when you sit down and straighten your legs. The other thing you do is use your rolls. So you can, excuse me, or a cat. A cat helps too. Okay, you gotta move. All right, you can place your rolls underneath of your knees. Like so. You can also use blocks. Okay, those are just some options for you. Flex your feet. And if you don't have anything under your knees, think about pressing your legs down. Bring your hands down by your sides. Lift your chest up. Good, exhale, release. All right, and then take that strap or belt I told you to get. And again, if you don't have one, that's fine. You don't need one. Come down to your backs. Bend your left knee, okay? And then start to straighten your right leg. Hands are on both sides of your strap or belt. Arms are straight, pressing your heel up. And again, you can always just have your hands behind your thigh. From here, you can stay here or you can extend your left leg down to the floor. Good. Exhale, release that. Switch sides. Bring your right foot to the floor. Wrap the strap in the ball of your left foot. Or just interlace your fingers behind your left thigh. And then straighten your left leg. Arms are straight. You can stay here or you can straighten your right leg down to the floor. Good. Exhale, slowly release that. Bring your left foot to the floor. We're going to go into a twist. And then we'll be cooling down for Shavasana. So you can use a block a couple different ways. So one way is to put the block between your knees, like so. All right. If you don't have a block, again, totally fine. The other thing you can do is when you go into your twist, have the block to the outside and it's resting under your knees or between your knees. All right. So if you have a block, go ahead and put it between your knees if you like. And then lift your knees up so they're in line with your hips. It's kind of like you're sitting in a chair. Bring your arms out into a T shape. You can move your hips a little bit to the left and then drop your knees to the right. So your lower body is moving into the position. Your upper body is remaining where it is. Think about lengthening and your left shoulder starting to draw towards the floor. If this feels too stressful, you don't have to go as deep into it. You can put that roll, that towel underneath of your knee. Inhale, come to the center. You can put your feet down for a moment just to reset your hips. And then draw your knees up. Get your knees in line with your hips, ankles in line with your knees. And then you can move your hips to the right a little bit and drop your knees to the left. And you should be able to breathe naturally and normally. If you can't breathe or if you feel pain of any sort, you got to come out of it. And inhale, slowly come back to the center. Place your feet down. Reset your hips. Remove your block if you have it between your knees. Draw your knees into your chest. And happy baby pose. Holding onto the outer edges of your feet. You can grab onto the insides of your feet, your big toes, or behind your thighs. Knees right to the outside of your ribs. Feet parallel to the ceiling. Pressing your sacrum down. Pressing your pelvis down. And then drawing your knees down. Relaxing your shoulders. And if you want to sway side to side, you can. Getting ready for our final rest pose of Shavasana. And then once you're ready, go ahead and bring your legs down, coming into a comfortable lying position. So you can put those rolls underneath of your knees. If you want to do legs up the wall, you can do that as well. If you are lying down, I would recommend putting those rolls under your knees if you have them. Lying down on your back. You can also use your other towel and roll it up about halfway and use it as a neck roll. So it will come down and don't allow it to lift your neck up. It should just support the natural curve of your neck. So you don't want your neck extended. Okay, so you just want it supporting the natural curve of your neck. Feet are a little bit wider than hip bone distance apart. Allow your feet to fall open naturally. Allow your fingers to curl. When you're ready, close your eyes. And just breathe normally through your nose. Imagining that mountain. The colors. The peaks. Imagining the clouds above it moving slowly or more fast. Those are your distractions and those are your thoughts. But the mountain does not move. The mountain remains the same. Just allow those clouds, those thoughts, to just naturally roll through. And slowly start to deepen your breathing. Bring some movement to your body and wiggle your fingers and toes. Circle your wrists and your ankles. And very slowly rolling over to one side. And very slowly pressing yourself up to sitting. And then come to any comfortable seated position at the top of your mat. Sit up tall. And then bring your hands together to heart center and close your eyes. May all beings everywhere be happy and free. And may the thoughts, words, and actions of my own life contribute in some way to the happiness and to that freedom for all. We bow to complete our practice. Thank you for practicing with me today. Namaste. Thank you. Happy Saturday. I hope that was nice and enjoyable. It's nice to do that first thing in the morning to kind of get your joints going, your body moving, but in a nice, natural, gentle way. I hope you guys enjoy your weekend. I'll have a schedule up tomorrow for next week. And again, we have Facebook Live through Yogamore, and then we also have it now through my YouTube channel, HQ Yoga, which also has other videos, pre-recorded videos that you can use. There's a meditation one on there to check out. And I'm hoping that, through this quarantine time that I'll be able to get more videos up once my schedule kind of calms down a little bit. But I hope you all have a great weekend. I love you all. Thank you so much for joining me. I cannot do this without you. So I really appreciate your time and the practice. Thank you.